Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Lois and welcome back to Age of Engineering. In the last episode, we were working on automation. That's what we're going to be doing for quite a while. Last episode though, we were working on trying to get basically everything ready so that we could start actually getting into advanced rocketry. So a lot of what we need to do with this is just make a bunch of machines. We've made our first one, the precision assembler, but we're going to need the cutting machine and the crystallizer before we can do too much with that. The electric arc furnace is something we can kind of hold off on for a while. But yeah, so I've been very busy. Between episodes, unfortunately, I'm running out of resources, specifically gold. Don't have too much gold right now, and don't have too much Certus quartz, which is a pain. We're going to get a little bit more Certus quartz dust. You guys will see why here in a second. But I can't make any more patterns right now because I don't have enough stuff, and it's just kind of it's kind of annoying. So we're gonna work on some automation stuff today. Of course, the plan is to automate this building a little bit. So this is the actual additions building. We're gonna work on automating some stuff in here, and then we're also going to start working on automating this stuff, the nuclear reactor specifically. So we have a lot of work to do. We're going to need to make a lot more machines and all that kind of fun stuff and figure out things and whatnot, but we'll get there. So first things first, what did I do between episodes? Well, as you can see, this entire building has a floor, and more than that, it has an entire basement. So I was digging out and getting everything ready for a basement for the actual additions. This is the tunnel to the tree farm. That will be sealed up eventually, but this is the basement for here. We'll get into that stuff later. Don't really need to do much with that right now, but we will eventually. So we're going to need power conduits, which I don't have. Alright, so we're going to need some conduits. We're going to need power. So, enhanced energy conduits. Can we make... Alright. I don't think I have much glowstone. This is the issue. So let's just get a couple. I also don't have much gold. So that's why I want to start working on actual additions, because we're going to try to get some stuff set up so that we can start getting a little bit of auto crafting with our ores set up. So that's kind of the plan. Let's go ahead and get alloys. Let's take this. I want to get, for right now, we're going to want some more ME conduit, I think. So let's make like 20 of those. Cool. So that's not too bad. And we're going to wire some stuff up today as well. So the biggest thing that we need to worry about outside of just kind of getting things set up, I'm so glad a lot of this stuff works. We do need to get the recipe set up eventually for the pure Certus quartz so that we can make more items and whatnot. Specifically the drives, we're kind of low on storage space. I went ahead and made another one, but that's only going to last us for so long. Do we have our energetic alloy? We do. One of these days we'll have a good amount of resources and whatnot. So let's go ahead and take a couple lines over here. And power line for right now is the more important one. So let's just send this over. And we were talking last episode, we made the power monitor from Ender.io, and that's something that we're going to be using today. So I believe I put it back. Oh no, it's over there. It's sitting over there. So we're going to want some flawless glass because this stuff looks really nice. And I haven't set up automation over at the Immersive Engineering yet. I will get to that later. But we're going to set up the Atomic Reconstructor, and we're going to set this guy up right here-ish. How do we want to set this up? Because what we're going to need is we're going to need a dropper. We're going to need a dropper. We're going to need an a couple of things from immersive or integrated dynamics, which we're going to get into today. That stuff is really complicated, and I know vaguely what I'm doing with it, but I don't at the same time, so bear with me when we get to that. But where do we want to put it? I want to put it in this corner, because I'm trying to think of what all we're going to have. Fermenting barrel and all that kind of stuff. We can take this guy. Actually, let's put it in this corner. That makes more sense. So put that over there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have atomic reconstructor setting here. We'll fix that guy in a little bit. It doesn't need to be on pulse mode. We can put some flawless glass here, and then we're going to actually work on... Actually, let's not put it there. Let's put it here. And you'll see why in a moment. So we can put the atomic reconstructor right here. Can we wrench it the other direction? Don't think so. Alright, so that's where the power line needs to go. And we'll need another power line over here anyways, so this isn't too big of a deal. What we want to do is automate all the dropper stuff. So redstonia crystals, the lapis, the palace crystals, void crystals, all of them, honestly. And let's see, let's get the atomic reconstructor. We'll put him right, not there. Oh, really? Okay. Luckily, we can break the glass. It breaks incredibly easily, and also it doesn't really matter too much because we can make as much flawless glass as we ever want. We're going to be using a lot of flawless glass just because we have the resources to do it. We have so many flawless diamonds, and it's just I don't know that I want to make anything out of them. That's the issue, because they're a little over the top for my liking. Like, they look nice, don't get me wrong, but just a little fancy for my taste. So we have plenty of flawless diamonds. Alright, so we're going to have... I guess we can break that as well. We can fix this stuff later, make it look nice. We'll have a dropper here, which will require some conduits and whatnot. That's fine. But the big thing that we're going to be using... And for the time being, we'll make this look nicer later. That's not as much of a concern. Functionality is more a concern. But we'll get the dropper and all that kind of stuff after a bit. So what's the main thing that we need to do? We need to get into integrated dynamics. And this is a mod that I am familiar with to the extent that I understand how powerful it is. It is incredibly powerful and useful and complicated. So we're gonna take all this stuff. There's a book on it which explains a lot of things, but it's based off of logic. So if you've never done programming or anything like that, logic can be kind of hard to deal with sometimes. But basically, you have a whole bunch of variables, a whole bunch of conditions, and stuff like that that you can detect, that you can work with, and we're going to be doing something fairly simple. We're going to need just a couple of things, but in order to do any of it, we're going to need a variable store. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to need logic cables, and I think we're going to grab this portable logic programmer. So the logic programmer is the biggest part of this. We can make one that is just flat out a block form, or we can make an item form. It's the same recipe, so we just need a crafting table. A lot of the recipes are relatively cheap, in the sense of, like, it just requires a lot of this mineral. Now the mineral is not the cheapest of things, but we can get a good bit of it using our squeezer and stuff like that. So here is the portable logic programmer. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're also going to need a variable store. So let's grab a chest. let's grab a couple of chests just in case. Then it's 2 blocks like so, and then a bunch of the crystallized stuff, and there is a variable store. We're going to need a battery, an energy battery. Doesn't really matter which one. I don't think so anyways. So we can use just redstone. Alright, that's easy enough. I put all of the resources in here as well. So those chests are gone. And I'm going to just be slowly putting everything into the system as we can get more and more stuff. So we need a battery. How do we make these higher tier batteries? There must be something. Oh, place with other energy batteries to increase capacity. Okay. So I think the basic one will be fine because, well, it's going to charge from our battery and then we can hook it up to power. So we'll need that. We're going to need a bunch of these variable cards. So we're going to need some paper. Do we have any paper? Not in there. I feel like we probably have some paper lying around. But let's just get some sugarcane because that's cheap enough. And we're going to want a few variable cards. We don't need that many of these because we're not going to be doing too much with integrated dynamics. You can do a lot though. So, and then we're going to need logic cables. So sticks and redstone. So we need more redstone. And we're going to want a good number of these. So let's get like that many. We're out of the mineral chunks, so we'll probably have to get more of that stuff. That's fine. So some logic cables, we'll need those. And then the last things we're going to need, I think, let me look. Yeah, so the last things we're going to need 2 more things. We're going to need a entity reader. So we're going to need some raw pork chops and this input variable. So we're going to need a sticky piston. I've made a piston. We have plenty of slime, luckily. We're going to need some more pork chops, though. That's something we'll have to go get. And there's a sticky piston. So we need the... For the reader, we need the input variable thing. So that's easy enough. So we're just going to need one of these, and then we're going to want a redstone writer. So we're going to need an output variable thing. So we're going to want another piston, which is on autocraft, which is nice. No crafting CPUs. What are you still making? Why are you struggling? That's a problem. Let's see if we can't fix that real quick. I wonder if it's just output is not on or something like that. Probably something really silly. Yeah, it is. So, there we go. Wait a sec. It's been a little bit. Okay. That was weird. Oh, it didn't actually send the items out of there yet. That's cool. Alright, cool. Let's get a piston. We'll get the output variable thing that we need. And then we're going to need 2 blocks of redstone. 1, 2. Alright. And output variable, 2 blocks of redstone, and a piece of redstone gives us a redstone writer. You'll see what that's for in a little bit. So, most of the stuff we can put away. We're going to need to go find some pigs. There's a pig over there. We need some pork chops. Not that like we'll ever have to worry about food, but we need the pork chops for the entity reader. So integrated dynamics lets you do a lot of different things. You can do everything from detect players to detecting weather. You can use it to set up basically highly complex systems fairly easily, fairly compactly. It's just a matter of getting it kind of taken care of. So that's the thing. And we're gonna need an entity reader. We only need one. Put that away. Put that away, and most of this stuff in here we can go ahead and put away, because I don't think we're going to need any more of it for the time being, if ever again. So let's come over here, and first thing we need to do is we need to set up some logic cables, and we can make facades, by the way. This stuff basically combined with a block and a crafting table, and you can change things. We'll probably use one of those, but we're gonna want an entity reader for right here. And then, as you can see, it's not lit up. It doesn't have power. It does need power. And then we're going to want a redstone writer here. And full disclosure, I'm totally stealing the design Direwolf 20 came up with for this. It seems like the simplest thing to do, so that's what I'm going to do. And we'll make some facades. I think that'll look nice. Alright, so then we just pop down here, and what we can do is set up a couple more things. So we're going to want this energy battery basically right here, and everything's connected so long as they're touching. So we can put a variable store right here. So what the variable store does is it stores any variables you have. So we're going to make a couple variables and tell it to do some stuff. It needs energy, so energy battery. And then we just need the entity reader will read entities, so items. We're going to have a dropper here, drop items here. And basically, entity, actually I want this. So we want a variable card that says entities, and we want to say in this programmable logic thing, there is a lot of options, a lot of like Boolean operators, a lot of operators basically that you can do stuff with, and we want is not null. And we're going to say this variable is not null, and this is the output. So basically, if you're not familiar with programming, what that means is we just made a variable that says entity. It's just any entity. This item on the ground is an entity. And so we then went to the logic programmer and said that for this entity variable, we want a variable card that says is not null. So basically, what that means is if there is an entity, it detects to see if there is an entity. If there's not an entity, then this is false. But if there is an entity, this is true. So is not null. It's a double negative. So basically, it's is there something there? Yes, then it outputs a signal. No, it doesn't output a signal. So we put this guy, the variable card, into redstone, the top one for Boolean, and it can't find the variable in the network. And that's what the variable store is for. So you store all your variables in there. Now you can have as many subnetworks as you want with this stuff, or you could have one giant network with a bunch of energy, a bunch of variable stores. I don't think it matters if there's multiple. I think that's fine. I'm not entirely sure on that though. So now we have an entity reader that looks for an entity right here. And right there it worked. When there's an entity, it sends a redstone signal there. Is that what I want? So is not null. That would work, I think, but we could also turn that to deactivation. Is that what I want to do? Let's see. Property strong power. You could do a lot of different things. So if we want to switch that to deactivation, because we don't necessarily want it to be a pulse. because that can get us into trouble later as well. So we'll see if this works the way I think it does or not, or if we have to switch it around. So deactivation, which means that yeah, so when it receives a redstone signal, it'll deactivate. So what we want is, I believe you can adjust these. No? So we want a redstone writer that says strong power false. True? No, I don't think that'll be. So when there's not entities there, we'll see if that works. Otherwise, we'll adjust it. I've got to remember what I should be doing. Like, we want to read if there's an entity there. If there's an entity there, it sends a redstone pulse. But we need to have it basically reversed. So I don't think we want this guy. I don't think we want is not null. I think we want is null. So it will have a redstone signal so long as there's nothing there. So let's grab this. Go back down here. Which one is this on? General. Okay, that's fine. Is null. And I believe you can overwrite these. Yes. All right. So does this make sense? So if there's nothing there, it's going to give us a true, and it's going to give us a redstone signal. And when there's something there, so we put that in there. We also have to put the variable card in. Forgot about that. We'll make some facades. We'll make this look nice because I want to see what the facades look like anyways. So that's something that would be nice to do anyways. So we'll put that in there. Did I put the right one in? Yes, because is null. Why do I have two? Whatever. Deactivation. So, presumably, if we throw something there that's not going to turn into anything else, it should detect it, and then it should keep firing until it's gone. Yes. So that's what we want. That way, once we're ready, we can have the dropper place items down from here. We need to run some redstone conduits and all that kind of stuff. Not redstone conduits, but ME conduits and whatnot, just so that we can basically the dropper will drop everything. We'll have a collector probably right underneath, and then that will give us everything we need. So that should work like I want it to. Let's grab the granite. We'll put that there, and let's go make some facades. We're just gonna make a couple facades. I just want to see what they look like more than anything. So put this stuff away. I do want to clear this variable card and facade. So we just need another block, which means we need a little bit more. Okay, so mineral wood, because I believe that's the only way. So we can get this guy from squeezing the resin. The resin we get from squeezing the logs. It's just a 1-to-1. So I believe we have some of those stuff over here. No. I want to say we made some of this stuff, but I don't remember if we did or not. Yeah, it's right here. At least the drying basin. So isn't there another way? Weren't we using like a centrifuge or something? So if we want the mineral resin, we can get it from a squeezer. And I guess we could probably water bucket. I guess we'll find out. Or not water bucket, but just bucket it. And squeezer. I mean, it's going to put that in here. And let's just go over to this little pond over here and dump this water off. So, I'm trying to figure out the integrated dynamics. It's kind of a weird... It's a complex mod that is kind of difficult to deal with sometimes. Oh, right. It's full of mulch. So we have the mineral resin bucket, which we can take over to the drying basin and get a block, and then we can get the facades and mess around with that. So the other thing that I want to work on today, so we'll get rid of the integrated dynamics, is I want to start working on automating our nuclear reactor. And the biggest reason for that is because we're going to want to basically have a lot of power coming through, and we'll get things kind of nice over there eventually as well. But for right now, we just need to get things a little bit nice. So this is a facade of flawless glass. I want to place this right here, and unfortunately it doesn't make the connected texture, but it does give it a solid block, which is fine. Then we're going to want a granite block and a sandstone. So we'll combine these, and then just granite. So backpack, chisel, single piece of granite. What is this stuff called? What are we using? I don't remember. It's small bricks. So small bricks are, where are they? There they are. And we'll make one more facade. So I'm kind of curious of what this stuff looks like, but this is how we're going to find out. So that did not work the way I wanted it to at all. So you know what? Let's break this. We're gonna put this back. Can we? We'll just trash it. And we're going to be wasting power. That's fine. We have solar panels. Solar power is not really wasted. But let's go ahead and remove this stuff. We're going to put the redstone writer there. Has no energy, obviously. And then we can put the variable card, and that will stop. So we'll just have to run power up like so. And well, these conduits can be hidden a lot better, and I believe they behave a lot. They behave a lot better than this stuff, so that will be fine. And then we're also going to want right here our sandstone facade, which again is going to look bad, but it's okay. So that'll be fine. It'll look better than not having anything there. But yeah, lighting errors. It doesn't play nice with chisel at all. That's really bad. But you know what? Oh well. It doesn't play nice with anything that has connected textures, it looks like. So let's clear up our inventory, and we can start getting into automating our stuff over there. So what do we need to do in order to automate the nuclear reactor? We're going to need more machines. That's the first thing. So first thing we're going to need a centrifuge, thermal centrifuge, thermal centrifuge, and then we're also going to need a canning. Let's see, we can look at a lot of the stuff we have over here. Fluid solid canning machine works just fine, but we can also use the other canning machine, which is a solid canning machine. That will be probably a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier. I don't want fluid, but whatever. So the solid canning machine, we're going to need, let's see, we're going to need a metal former. And eventually we're going to have a lot of stuff kind of automated. We're going to want another ore washing plant, or we might just take this one. We might just take this one. That might be fine. So let's go ahead and do that. And that means we can remove this stuff. What are you? You're the grinder. Alright, let's pick you up. Can we just break you? Oh gosh, please. Nope. Alright, well, I don't know why. I guess we had to have a Neotech wrench. Ugh. That's a bummer. But whatever. So I guess what we could do, and this is something that's probably a little silly, but we could actually have automation over here. Originally I was going to have like multi-block machines. I don't actually know how many of those we're going to need. We could also have the power over there, but I don't know. We could also have the automation right here. That might be a good idea. So we'll put the ore washing plant here. And that could be good. I don't know. Well, I kind of have to figure a couple things out with this. Make sure there's no darkness down here. But I do think having the ore washing plant and all that kind of stuff over there would be a good idea. And I do think we're going to move all the power stuff over to this side eventually. Having a lot of this stuff over here is fine, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of need to move like everything around. It's just a little bit more of a pain than it is anything else, just because of, well, the reason we just saw with breaking the Neotech machine, because I didn't have the right wrench. So what are we going to want to do? Let's see. If we set up machines here, we're actually probably going to want them. Yeah, we're going to want them right here. So let's just set up ore washing machine. We're going to want to have everything to make these guys. So, and then to recycle these. So we'll put the, so like the thermal centrifuge will get two things. We'll have to make another one of these guys, which is not terribly bad at this point. It used to be really bad just because it's going to require a lot of copper. And you know what, maybe moving all the power down below would be the better idea. And then we can have all of our, like, we're going to want to teach the system how to make, for example, these coils, because these coils are used for making, where are they? The copper coils, which are used in a lot of stuff. So maybe this side will be automation. So wiring, power, and all that kind of fun stuff is always a pain to me for IC2. So I think I'm going to work on a lot of this stuff off camera. But before we go, I do want to do a couple things. So something we're going to need a lot of is advanced machine casings. And so let's go ahead and teach the replicator how to make those. So we're going to need, first of all, a bunch of iron plates. So iron, we seriously not have any iron plates at this point. We might have a few lying around. Machine block. I wonder if this can be scanned. It can be. Do we want to do that? What's the recipe for this? Just refined iron. That's actually really easy. So, meh. I don't think that's worth it. Alright, so do we have any iron blocks lying around? Or iron plates? No. Alright, so let's get an iron block and we'll go ahead and cut that up, because that's the easiest way to handle this, and at least without using immersive engineering. So a lot of what we need to do is get power situated and kind of move. So I'll probably want to upgrade the MFE. In order to do that, we're going to need the MFSU. These guys are a bunch of Lapotron crystals, advanced machine casing, and advanced circuit. The advanced circuits are the most annoying part of that, but we can handle that. So it's not that big of a deal, it's just annoying. So there is the basic machine casing. That's not difficult enough to worry about auto crafting. So we have some advanced alloys. That's good. We're gonna need some coal dust so that we can make the carbon plates. Let's go ahead and put that away, that stuff away. Like I said, I will clean up things between episodes. I think that will be a good project for me. So raw carbon, carbon meshes. Might as well make a handful of these. It's not that hard to get. Coal is pretty much standard recipe type stuff, and then we just need some steel. So 4 pieces of steel turned into plates. 2, 3, 4, and we can make the advanced machine casing, and we'll throw it into the patterns, the scanner, and go from there. So one of the big things that we're also going to want to do with this whole system is start looking at getting a lot of different things kind of set up with, like, I need more automation over here, and some of the stuff we're going to have automated to the extent of never going to have to do anything with the, like, what am I trying to say? Never gonna have to do anything with, like, this guy. It will just be completely automated. But the only thing that we're gonna really use this for, so most of the stuff isn't really useful. At least not in this mod pack. In other mod packs, Greg Tech is, well, Tech Reborn is really, really useful and really important. But like lithium, for example, we can use in a fusion reactor. We need it for lithium batteries, which are required for backpacks, Lapotron orb pack. Yeah, not useful to us. That is basically, it's a battery for EU, which is cool, but not useful. And that's the thing with a lot of this stuff. Carbon cells, used in a chemical reactor to get different things, but most of the stuff is just not useful whatsoever. So really the only thing we're going to be using, nitrogen cells, talked about this a little bit before, but there's a handful of things that we're going to want, but most of the stuff isn't really important. Other than dealing with, like, a lot of the ores that we can't do anything else with, which we can automate. So this is the block that we'll probably just want to full out automate 100%. Never use it for any other purpose because there's no use for it. So let's get the advanced machine casing. And this is something I probably should have done a long time ago, but let's go ahead and scan it. So that will take a little bit of time. And yeah, so I'm gonna figure out what I want to do with this. So, and kind of look ahead. I know that this has told us that we're gonna need to make tungsten steel. Let's actually look at tungsten steel. So tungsten ingots or whatever requires a blast furnace, whatnot. But then tungsten steel, is there any use for this? We're gonna need one. And so we're gonna have to do a lot of, we're gonna need the vacuum freezer, we're gonna need the blast furnace, and that's it. So what is the book actually telling us about that? Vacuum freezer is a 3x3 multi-block, 3x3x3, and needs ice shards from bees. You can make fusion reactor, and you need that for helium plasma. So helium plasma, we need for the dimension builder. So we're gonna need a lot of these things for like one-off things. So what I think we might do is I'm gonna condense this area a little bit. Probably move all power down below. And I like this guy here. He fits really nicely right here. Might have some other little tiny things around, like our nuclear reactor, nuclear suit and whatnot. But just kind of condense everything. Probably move a lot of things. Any kind of power type stuff will move down below. And I like having some of this automation down below as well. But then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have full automation on the right side, and then the left side will be everything else, and then the center will be the nuclear reactor, and then we'll have power down here, probably a little bit more centralized, and I'll dig out this area and all that kind of fun stuff, and just kind of try to work on IC2. I despise IC2 sometimes, just because it is a pain to work with. These wrenches are very fragile for how much you have to use them if you want to move any machines around. And yeah, we lost energy. So this guy doesn't actually have energy coming in. Actually it does, but we have no. Alright, let's go get a bunch of wood. And actually let's look real quick. Charcoal. So charcoal dust is 16. Blocks are more. Interesting. So it's 16. How much carbon does wood give us? Also 16. Okay. So let's just use wood. We have plenty of that. It's not a concern. And let's go ahead and just upgrade, or not upgrade, but get more carbon in here so we can get more syngas. I'll probably want to make better stuff with this eventually, with the syngas producer and whatnot, but that's something we'll deal with later. Making bigger advanced generators so that we can get plenty of power to all of our stuff until we can get creative power, which is going to be a while. Okay, let me up there. Alright, so the plan is I'm going to work on IC2 a little bit and probably get some more resources. The other plan was to, I've shown off how this will work. I might go ahead and set up one of the lasers in here. So, I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. But then this can set up in here as well. So, this is center of the room. Something like this. And that gives me plenty of room to kind of work around and whatnot. But yeah, so I need to work on IC2. I think that's the next thing to worry about, getting all the machines. I might go ahead and make all the machines that we're going to need. But the biggest thing is getting this guy automated, and then this guy will probably move. Maybe in this corner would be really nice. But yeah, so nuclear power, I'll probably take this line off and put it around the bottom. Have this going all the time, and maybe even having this guy go all the time, and just kind of working towards getting more and more power. So the good thing about having the reactor chamber going all the time is it's going to give us plutonium, which we need in order to make the pellets of RTG fuel, which is for the turbines. So we can increase our, as well as extreme reactors, if we ever want to make one of those. We might have to in order to get plutonium. I don't know if plutonium is something we're going to need or not. I think we're going to need ludicrite. Yes. And is there a way to get ludicrite that doesn't require plutonium? No. Alright, well, that's going to be fun. So we're going to need to get plutonium. I don't know if there's a way to get plutonium outside of actually setting up a reactor. So that's going to be something we'll do eventually as well. That could probably go in the basement of our power area, or we can, I might actually sacrifice the diesel generator to be a reactor. Have a full-size reactor in here. That could be kind of cool. We could make it actually fit so it goes up to here. That would be kind of neat. So maybe we'll look into that here soon as well. Give us more power for our base, although we don't really need it. Just kind of figuring things out. So a lot of work to do still. This series is going to take a while, to be honest, but we're getting there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!